What's going on, everybody? Jacob here. We didn't really come at you guys on the weekend as there really wasn't a lot going on, not a lot of movement that we saw a lot earlier on in the week, like all the way back to last Sunday when Jalen Ramsey signed, then free agency starting. There wasn't a lot that happened over the weekend, and so here we still are. There's a lot that can be done, so what I'm going to do for you guys, come at you with the top 5 guys that I think the Miami Dolphins could still pursue in free agency over the next coming weeks, when the draft happens, after the draft, depending on how the dominoes fall. As we all know, 90% of the work gets done that first week of free agency, even before the actual free agency period technically opens. So these are the 5 guys I've comprised I think the Dolphins should go after and sign. Starting off with number 1, Bobby Wagner. Now, this was one of my number 1 free agent targets. A combination of him and Levante David were the 2 guys that I really wanted to see the Dolphins sign at middle linebacker. We got out and got an absolute steal of a linebacker in, I keep forgetting his name. David Long. I need to remember that. I keep wanting to go to David Lee. It's not the Warriors. We're not looking at the Warriors former forward. David Long, I think, is a steal of a player for the contract we got him at. And great work by the Dolphins, but we still need some more work at the middle linebacker position. That was a certain area of need going into the offseason that I stated that the Dolphins needed to attack. We brought in David Long, but we also let Landon Roberts go. And while Landon Roberts is not somebody that I'd really go to bat for and defend his time with the Dolphins, it's been very middle of the road. Not a lot of special, not a lot of horrible, but he's been there. He's been a captain for the Dolphins. I said we needed to improve, and I think at the very least we have done that. Just a 1-for-1 going from Landon Roberts to David Long. Again, wanted to go to David Lee, going to David Long, but I think the Dolphins could use more right now. David Long, you have Duke Riley that we also brought back, have Jerome Baker, and we probably still going to bring back Sam McGuavin, but I think there's more that can be done, and you have somebody here that was at one point the best linebacker in the league, at one point arguably the best defensive player in the league, and yeah, he's a little bit up there in age. He's 32 years old. He's come off a season where he did have 2 interceptions, 6 sacks, so very productive numbers still as he goes over to the Rams for that one season. I think he's somebody that can come in and produce 2 or 3 solid seasons for the Miami Dolphins and really shore up that linebacking core. We haven't had somebody in the middle of the field that could really attack other teams' passing game, and David Long should be able to do that. But Bobby Wagner, the experience he's had, the talent he has, I would love to see him come in, the championship acumen. At one point, again, top of his game, top of the league in terms of really where he was as a player. Had a couple interceptions, had 6 sacks last year. He still has something to give, and the Dolphins are clearly going all in. So Bobby Wagner for me, first dude I like the Dolphins to pursue, followed by Dalton Schultz. Now, I was very much on the train way back that the Dolphins needed to move off of Mike Gesicki, and that's what we did end up doing. He went off and signed for the Patriots 1 year, $8 million, I believe it was. I expected him to be on a different team when offseason rolled around. I wish we would have traded him in the beginning of the season where we potentially could have got a third-round pick for him. Instead, he has a mediocre season, doesn't really contribute hardly at all, and then walks away for free. Wish we could have moved off him. And Dalton Schultz, I don't think he's going to be a long-term answer. He's not coming off the greatest of seasons, 577 yards, 5 touchdowns. I do believe he missed some time with the Dallas Cowboys. I know Dak Prescott missed some time, so that connection wasn't there. He was going with backup quarterback Cooper Rush, who did a good job for the Cowboys, but come on. Anybody goes out there with their backup quarterback, you're not expecting him to have the type of success that they potentially could with their starter. Schultz, though, never cracked 1,000 yards so far in his career. 2 seasons ago, 808 yards was his best season in his career, 8 touchdowns in the 2021 season. Not a long-term answer. I'm not looking to sign Dalton Schultz to a 4-year contract. You sign Dalton Schultz to a 1 or 2 year deal, honestly, around the same type of money that Mike Gesicki ended up getting, I'd be pretty okay with it. Good route runner, good hands. He's not the biggest of tight ends, but he's still a decent blocker. He's a better blocker than Mike Gesicki has been throughout his career. And we have to have somebody. We have to have somebody. We can't be going in with Durham Smythe as our top tight end option. We need to bring in somebody that might honestly be through the draft. I can see like a Darnell Washington if he falls to us in the 2nd round. That be an avenue the Dolphins pursue because of the ability to not only block, which he's the best blocking tight end coming to the draft, but the ability to catch the ball, his athleticism. He just happens to be behind the best tight end in college football on one of the best offenses in college football. Darnell Washington, I think, would be a pretty solid addition for the Dolphins. But Dalton Schultz, he can come in and just, again, do a job. He's not a long-term option. He's not meant to be the guy to be with the Dolphins for 4 or 5 years. He can be that, but he is just solid enough in pretty much every department that on a 1 or 2 year deal, I think he can come in and do the Dolphins a really good job. And he's still available. The Cowboys are likely looking like they're going to be letting him go. They just brought in Brandon Cooks, so they went out and got a deal done with another team's pass catcher before they even bring Dalton Schultz back. I think he's gone. I think he's on the market, and he's my second best option for the Dolphins to go out pursue, followed by, you roll your eyes a little bit, but Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham Jr., he is available. Now, while I do have him here on this list, I do not think this is going to happen. The Dolphins were not present at his workout earlier on in March, so that leads me to believe they are not interested, and it makes sense. 3 out of his last 4 seasons, the guy hasn't surpassed 10 games played. He's been very much not available for his team, and I made a video over on my other channel, JK Productions, talking about how availability is the best ability somebody can have, talking about Lamar Jackson. Well, this dude doesn't play. It sucks because he's so incredibly talented, but you're looking at his years. 2021, he had around 530 yards with both the Browns and the Rams. Then 2020 with the Browns, 319. 1,035 yards in 2019. So I actually looked at 2021, those 2 stints as 2 separate years. That's actually 1 year. And then the Giants season where he had 1,052 yards. So his last 2 fully healthy seasons were around 1,000 yards. He's going to be coming in as the third option if he were to join the Dolphins, which is not something that I think he would necessarily want to do. He being the guy he is, being the personality he is, Odell is very much, he wants the bright lights to shine on him. And he succeeds when he has that happening. But if the Dolphins are some able to bring him in, that is arguably the best receiving core that has ever been assembled. I mean, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, the duo that they had last year, was the best duo in the NFL. You add Odell to that, his hands, his route running. We'll see how his explosiveness is coming off the ACL injury. I think and hope he still has a lot to provide if he comes to the Dolphins. Similar to Dalton Schultz, it's not going to be a long-term option. It's going to be a 1-year, $10 million deal. Some team offered him $4 million and he laughed at it. $4 million for Odell, that'd be a steal. But that's obviously not going to happen. And I don't truly think that this is going to happen. I don't think he ends up a Dolphin. But if it does, it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be electric. If he can stay healthy, he hasn't stayed healthy the last couple of years. If he can stay healthy, he can stay on the field, lining up with Tyreek Hill, lining up with Jalen Waddle, just putting as much as you can around Tua is the right way to go. And I would absolutely love to see that happen. Followed by not necessarily people you're going to throw to, but these are, I say top 5. These are 2 I'm going to include in the same here with Isaiah Wynn of the New England Patriots. So Mike Gesicki goes over to the New England Patriots and bring Isaiah Wynn over there on the right, as well as Dalton Reisner, not sure how to pronounce that, on the left. 2 guys that were part of very mid offensive lines last year, and maybe actually it's more applicable for Isaiah Wynn. Reisner, again, I'm not sure, was part of arguably the worst offensive line in football last year. And he was, from what I've seen, one of the brighter spots on that offensive line, but it was still part of just absolute atrocious line, which saw the Broncos ranked like bottom 10 in sacks allowed, rushing yards, all these attributes that you can attach to an offensive line. The Broncos were horrible at it. And then Isaiah Wynn, is it the fact that your quarterback isn't that mobile and you only had one real running back in Rondre Stevenson back there? Don't really trust the other guys that the Patriots have running behind him. I'm not sure. But the Dolphins need to find more protection for Tua. Obviously, he's not the most durable. Obviously, he's not the most athletic. I'm not going to get into that in this video. So what you need to do is protect him. And what they did last year was not good enough. Bringing in Teron Armstead, certainly a step in the right direction. Certainly a step in the right direction. And continuing to go down that route will just help Tua's development, help Tua try to solidify himself as this team's starting quarterback for beyond this year. If you keep him upright, I think he is good enough. We saw him get us into the playoffs. Now we just need to do more to protect him. Had a revolving door at right tackle. Austin Jackson goes down earlier on in the season. And then again, it's just a revolving door there. Left guard, right guard, Robert Hunt wasn't as solid as you hoped he would be. Connor Williams at center, well, except for when he was snapping the ball over to his head, did a really good job last year. And Teron Armstead, when healthy, did a really good job. All three other spots on the line need assisting. You have a guard, you have a tackle here. Bring in one of these guys, bring in both of these guys, bring in one, draft somebody else. Something needs to get done to protect Tua. Something needs to get done to protect Tua. These are two of the best, arguably the two best offensive linemen still available. Bringing in at least one of these guys would be a major step to protecting Tua. And then finally, to go out and attack the other team's quarterback, somebody who hasn't had the career he's expected to, that being Jadeveon Clowney. Last year with the Browns, only had 2 sacks. I believe he had 8 the season prior. So there's something there with Jadeveon Clowney. And this is a circus that the Dolphins have seen multiple off seasons now, where it's like, oh, Dolphins in the race for Jadeveon Clowney. There's also Yannick Ngakoue, another name that Dolphins fans, don't want the wind blowing that. Another name that Dolphins fans have seen tossed around. Yannick Ngakoue, Jadeveon Clowney, both guys that relatively disappointed. Yannick Ngakoue had like 1 or 2 incredible years for the Jaguars. Jadeveon Clowney, I don't think you can quite say the same. I mean, let's go look over his stats. His top sack season, so it was 9 2 years ago with the Browns and 9 in his first year with the Texans. Number 1 pick when he came out, has never lived up to that number 1 pick status. Last year, quarterback pressures only had 12 all season long. You look at his quarterback hits. I know it's something ridiculously low. It's 4 quarterback hits all year long. He didn't get to the quarterback. He was hurt a bit. Only played in 12 games, but you see something there. You see something there. Another one of these guys. I don't think anybody the Dolphins bring in over the next couple of days, if they do, or the rest of the offseason, are going to be long-term fixes. These are all go all in, try to win a championship right now moves. All of them. Bobby Wagner, if he was 5 years younger, he's making $25 million on the market right now. So that's not the case because of his age, slight decline in his playing ability. All these guys, Jadeveon Clowney included, 1 or 2 year deals. And those 1 or 2 year deals could be the difference of the Miami Dolphins making the playoffs, not making the playoffs. Winning a game, not winning a game. Winning the Super Bowl, not winning the Super Bowl. There's still moves to be made. Jadeveon Clowney, not had the career he's wanted. 2 sacks last year. 4 quarterback hits all year long. Not the career he's wanted. Still a very talented player. There's still something there to provide. So that's been my top 5 guys. I mean, starting off again with Bobby Wagner, if he would rotate. Bobby Wagner, you go all the way down from Bobby Wagner, Dalton Schultz, Odell Beckham, Risner, Isaiah Wynn, and then Jadeveon Clowney. Those are my top 5 guys I'd like to see Dolphins pursue in free agency over the next coming days, over the next coming weeks, over the next coming months. Let me know any guys down below that you would like to see the Dolphins pursue. It's Jacob. Thank you all very much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe. Have a great rest of your day. Take care, everybody.